Freshly back from the Overland Expo, it's time to start doing our walk-arounds. So first up, the Black Bean. Come check it out. So one of the trailers we've been looking at, we've been following the company is Bean. I think they've got a really strong brand, a really great following. Here recently they've been promoting a new version called the Black Bean. It's supposed to be a limited edition, but more specifically designed for off-roading. So
and lots of power.
Lots of power. Yeah. So
really cool bike racks, all that kind of stuff. So let's check it out.
Yeah, we'll check it out. So we've come out for a drive today to talk about the Bean trailer. Wow, that's a heck of a scene. A little hard to see from the GoPro camera, but it's a beautiful day. The mountain's not entirely out, but it's got this beautiful crest of clouds, fluffy, soft clouds right over the summit. So beautiful day. So we just got back from the Overland Expo West. We shot a whole bunch of video, and we got to speak to the owner of Bean Trailers. So we'll include the link to Bean's own walkthrough down below. But we wanted to focus this video a little bit on what we learned from the expo, including some of our observations on the trailer capability itself. I'm sure you can't hear that, but there's elk billowing in the background. Yeah. So let's start with the living space. Real quickly, interior dimensions. It fits a mattress size of 58 wide by 78 long. It's in terms of teardrops, the height is actually really good. It's 54.5 inches tall on the interior, so lots of interior space.
Good headroom. I know I was able to stand up in it just to show that it could be done, but I'm short. I'm 5'3".
Kind of stand up, roll your shoulders, head down. I mean, yeah.
Stand up, right? Yeah.
Right. We did note, I mean, like many teardrops, that it's just as easy to sit in as it is to lay down in. So I think we see that as a plus. You can sit back against the back wall and use the space during the day for sitting, in addition to sleeping at night.
And it doesn't. The black bean, or beans in general, don't have the overhead or the overhanging storage.
Right, over the feet.
Over the feet, which we've noted kind of makes us feel a little claustrophobic. We like storage, but we don't really want it hanging over our feet.
Right.
So
we didn't see this on the black bean that at the expo. Not to say it wasn't there. We didn't lift up the mattress too far, but many of the beans have an interior table that's tucked up under the mattress, and it's embedded in the body. So it does list that as one of the features on Bean's website. So I'm gonna assume I just didn't lift the mattress up far enough to see it. One of the things that is important to us, and we'll talk about power probably over and over again, the ability to have enough power and to charge your devices. The Bean definitely delivers on this front. You've got both AC and DC outlets down at the foot of the bed by the circuit breaker. You've also got USB ports on both sides of the bed, overhead near the headboard. So they've got racks on both sides of the bed with little hanging space. They've got cup holders. They've really looked at more than just the sitting and sleeping. They've looked and done a really good job at making that space more functional.
Yeah, and the storage up front is pass through, and it has trays like cubbies or bins, and which is, I think, great for storage and organization.
There is overhead storage above the headboard space. You'll notice that in their video, as well as the video that we show, there's a window over the headboard, but then above that window is additional storage. And there is also overhead storage even above the cabinets in the cabin.
Right, and they have drawers and then cabinets and then storage they call the attic. So that's there as well. And I don't think you have to have the window. I think that's optional.
Right.
The back window, that is.
Yeah, above the headboard.
Right.
So we've already covered internal storage as a part of the cabin. So let's talk a little bit about external storage. They have a storage box at the front of the rig. Of course, most of that box on one side is taken up by the battery bank. We'll talk more about the batteries in a bit, but you can reclaim maybe a little bit of that if you don't go with their max power option with 4 lithium batteries. It does have the capability for roof rack, and I don't know if the roof and the roof mechanisms and roof rack are standard, but that definitely increases the exterior storage when you can put whatever on the roof, including a rooftop tent if you want. So you've got that in addition to the front box, and we didn't mention on the front box, the Black Bean is also featuring a bicycle rack by, I believe it's by One Up, really sturdy, rigid bicycle rack, 2 bikes rack mounted to the front of that box. They also have a hitch point behind the kitchen where you could put an additional bike rack or other kind of storage rack solutions added to your hitch.
Which I think would be awkward because the galley opens from the back.
Sure.
So you'd have to move all of that stuff before you got into the galley.
Right. So let's talk a minute about their power. They do have showcased on the model, both in their video and what they had at the expo, was their max power solution for 105 lithium batteries, so 420 total, and 2,000 watt inverter. They showcased the ability to supplement power to your home from this rig.
It definitely has more power than our RV.
Oh, yeah, our full-size RV. It way outdoes our full-size RV today.
Way outdoes.
It has an optional solar panel that's actually recommended if you get the front window. The solar panel kind of doubles as a shield to protect that front window when you're traveling. It will also charge while traveling. And of course, you have additional options for non-mounted solar solutions. And of course, you have access to shore power, should you be at a place to plug in. So let's shift to water.
So 18 gallons of water is going to last you a long time. It's certainly not going to give you a lot of showers, even though they do have a instant hot water on the side, which is really great. And so you can take a shower. You can, I think you said, hook it up to the galley?
Well, it looks like there's no direct connection into your galley kitchen, but the hose on the external shower is, it's all mounted right there beside the galley, so no big deal to move that hose around if you needed hot water around in your kitchen. So when it comes to the kitchen overall is actually really nice.
And this massive sink, which is a big deal. People don't understand. So the reason I put this big sink in it is that those small little RV sinks, they're good for brushing your teeth and washing your face, but you can't do dishes in them. They're too small, right? 2 12-inch frying pans, something that gives you the option of a third burner, a 55-quart fridge with a slide out, and these massive drawers.
They have good lighting in the galley area. They have RGB options for different colors, so if you want to have a party bean, you can have a party bean and have blue or green or amber or red, so you can change the color up if you want to do that. And the galley does obviously open from up rather than to the side, which I prefer. That way you have some automatic shelter, and the stove is off to the side, out from the top of the galley or the door, but you can turn it around and be under the door if you want some shelter from the elements.
Right. And of course, if you haven't seen a bean before, you have to note the innovation of just screwing your paper towel holder to that to that door.
Yeah, something simple, but they, their eye to detail is good. Thinking about the purpose and how things are used, and having the cubbies and having everything clean and sleek is very nice.
Yeah. Practically speaking, I think the kitchen is well laid out. It's sort of a consolidated. That is the kitchen space, the galley space. They were thoughtful enough with the burner to allow you to face it either outside or inside, depending on both weather and how much space, counter space and workspace that you needed. So really functional in that way.
Right.
And they also have both 110 and 12 volt access right there in the kitchen. So let's talk about the off-road capability of this particular rig. So with this rig, you've got a Cruisemaster DO35 articulating hitch, 30-inch tires, 3500 Timbren independent suspension, which gives you almost 20 full inches of ground clearance.
The counter, when you look at all these trailers here, because they've got a ridiculous, I don't know, 25 inches of ground clearance, which nobody's vehicle has 25 inches of ground clearance. A Jeep Rubicon has 14 inches of ground clearance. Our lousiest trailer has more than 14 inches of ground clearance.
While I think he's technically right, the reality is maybe a little bit more nuanced. The fact of the matter is that your tow vehicle is the vehicle that you are picking a very specific line for. So yes, this rig does have a higher clearance than any average tow vehicle. But you kind of need it, because while you're picking the line for your tow vehicle, you're dragging the trailer. So you're not always going to be able to put that trailer over the exact careful line that you're using with your tow vehicle. So I think it is relevant to have a higher clearance from the trailer than you would from the tow vehicle.
But 19.5, about 20 inches, it's quite adequate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of their stated highlights of off-roading is the fact that this is a single unified body. It's a molded body.
There isn't a single trailer here that is a one-piece fiberglass shell, right, with composite walls. So when you touch this trailer, this is a trailer that is going to last long after my bones are bleaching in the sun. There is no seam. There is no joint. Okay. The biggest thing that destroys off-road trailers is vibration on dirt roads. So like on washboard roads, the low frequency, high frequency opens up any joint, right? Any joint that you have on a trailer gets opened up, right? Yeah. And so the way you avoid that is, instead of having a separate roof and sidewall, you make that all one piece. So this is a one-piece fiberglass shell, like a boat hull that's upside down, right?
Okay, so let's talk for a few minutes about purchasing one of these. Chris, what did you say the MSRP?
The base price before any additional options is $37,999.
Which I think you're probably pushing mid-40s by the time you add on standard sets of options.
Right.
Yeah, so their site doesn't talk about heat and air options. I think on a lot of these rigs, especially when you've got a 2,000 watt inverter, you can find, even if you can't build it as a part of the manufacturing, you can find aftermarket solutions to solve. Lead time is only 3 months, so I think the owner is pretty hard on a lot of his competition, being that if you're truly a manufacturer, you should be able to manufacture product, right? So final thoughts on the Bean.
So I like the Bean. I do like the Bean. I know it does not meet my stand-up criteria, even though I was standing but with my head down. But that's okay. What would make you not buy the Bean? Maybe we shouldn't go that route, but
the overall size and form factor will naturally be limiting.
Okay.
Right? Even the size of your roof rack is limited to the size that you can mount.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be okay with the overall footprint, and that this is the right footprint of the trailer that you're looking to buy.
Yeah, and this is a true teardrop.
Yeah.
Right? It's shaped like a teardrop. The roof is like a teardrop, so that does have some limiting factors for you with regard to storage and different things like that, at least in our mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's positive. The lead time, super positive. You can get it really, really quick. And it's got a following, it's got a community. I think that's something that is nice. We're people who like communities. We have a Harley, that's a community. We have a Jeep, that's a community. So the fact that the Bean has a community is nice. It's appealing.
Right.
I like the bike rack up front. I think I like that it's rugged. I think that it is bougie inside for a camper, and so it is nice. It doesn't have the space over your, the storage over your feet, which is also good. Gets you out of the elements.
Lots of power options.
Yes.
I mean, that's really great. Really great.
So one of the things that we plan to do, because we're spreadsheet people, is we plan to list out all of the different features and details and factors and of all of the rigs that we've looked at and that we're comparing and contrasting, and actually have a rating scale and making sure that we are taking a step back and looking at the data, because that's kind of what we do, is look at the data and really figuring out which rig is right for us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments too if this is something that you think would be interesting to you. One of the things that this spreadsheet's going to do, we're going to build a weighted average into it. So not all criteria should be weighted equal. Our dependency on power might be higher than your dependency on power, and power might be more important than the galley space. So even though we're going to have like a scale of 1 to 10 on all the criteria, we're going to go through and build a weighting system that can be tailored to your individual needs. So definitely let us know in the comments if this is something that you'd be interested in us providing to you.
Yeah, and maybe once we're finished with our reviews from the show, if there are rigs that we need to add to that. I think we have about 7 different rigs to review from the Overland Expo, and so I know there are other rigs out there, though. There were even other rigs at the show that we've decided not to put on because we nixed it right there at the show. We decided, nope, this is not for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably moving on to the expedition next, so I'll probably put that out by next week. What's the owner's name?
Mr. Bean? Is it Mr. Bean? Because that would be funny. If it were. I would like that very much. If he changed his name.